Hi there! Are you ready to use your education or work experience to support our environment or educate our children?
Hey, would you like to meet people with similar interests? Hello! Do you wish to just have a good time and feel rewarded at the end of the day?
You might consider volunteering at the Guanatolamato Matanza National Estuarine Research Reserve. We need volunteers. Become a volunteer and find fun, adventure, and satisfaction. The GTM Research Reserve covers 74,000 acres of coastal lands in northeast Florida from Ponte Vedra Beach to Palm Coast. More than 262,000 people visited our reserve last year. By volunteering, you can wear the blue hat of pride and respect. You can volunteer to lead tours or assist a group leader. You can help maintain our trails, beaches, and waterways, or assist in a scientific project. You can be a greeter or help in our public outreach program.
Our training program provides an avenue for you to volunteer as much as you want. You can assist in the activity by helping to sign in participants and give directions, or you can shadow the group leader, learning the activity until you can lead your own group or activity.
Come join us and find your treasure chest of fun, adventure, and satisfaction. Our chest is always full of opportunities for volunteers.
One of the largest opportunities in our treasure chest is our educational program. GTM Research Reserve taught over 2,700 students last year. We use volunteers in virtually every facet of the education program, from curriculum development to program facilitation to summer camp helpers and beyond.
Volunteers assist our staff putting on the Adventures of Estuary Summer Camp. Students learn about the importance of the estuary and the adaptations of animals that call the ocean and estuary home. Volunteers help balance out the studies with camp games and crafts that support the overall learning themes. Our staff produces a program called Teachers on the Estuary, better known as TOTE. Volunteers assist staff in using local examples to promote stewardship of watersheds and estuaries. Volunteers lead many of our educational programs. One of the favorite programs is the Saturday Salt Marsh Seining. The whole family can use seine nets to collect various fish and crab species. Participants learn about biodiversity and the roles animals play in the habitat. Once a month, GTM Research Reserve volunteers host a beach exploration at Guana North Beach. This 2-hour guided beach hike teaches guests about the various species of animals and plants that can call beach home. Guests also collect and identify seashells. Beaches 101 provides an enjoyable experience for the entire family.
Volunteers also lead the guided cultural hike. The volunteers will talk about the peninsula's 5,000 years of human history, including how native peoples used estuarine resources, what European plantation life was like, and current efforts to save these resources.
If you reside south of St. Augustine, you will find the GTM Field Research Center close to you. Here you can volunteer to help the Matanzas Inlet Walk. Guests enjoy a leisurely guided walk around the Matanza Inlet while exploring the ever-changing shoreline and beaches. The river to the sea walk is a stroll to point out the changes wrought by Hurricane Irma, a maritime hammock along the eastern shore of the Matanza River, and the coquina outcroppings along the Atlantic shoreline. As a volunteer, you will be able to discuss Native American lore, including how they used various plants for food, beverage, and medicine. The Marineland Beach Walk is another volunteer opportunity. Our guides show where the restless sand comes from and where it's going, and its refusal to just stay put. Back at the headquarters building, which we call the Visitor Center, groups come in daily to be led through the exhibits by our volunteers. What a great way to spend the day educating young and older adults about what lives in our oceans. Finding sea turtle tracks on the beach are a magical experience. It is our Sea Turtle Patrol volunteers who are out on our beaches every morning documenting and protecting turtle nests. The volunteers educate many people each year through the direct contact on the beach and through lecture presentations. In 2017, the Sea Turtle Patrol identified and marked 213 nests in our beaches. You can help in preserving and restoring the reserve. If you were thinking about volunteering for the prescribed fire activities, removing beachfront housing, or becoming a lifeguard, we have other avenues for you to get exercise and fresh air. Join in keeping GTM Research Reserve pristine. We need volunteers year-round for beach cleanup. Help us keep the GTM Research Reserve beaches beautiful. Trash bags and gloves will be provided. Trail maintenance is an ongoing activity. Groups of volunteers go out on an as-need basis, most of the time led by a ranger, to clean up the fallen trees and overgrown branches and weeds. Along the trail maintenance, there are construction volunteers. This year, apart from the repair needed on our beach walkways torn up by Hurricane Irma, our staff and volunteers built boardwalk platforms in the marsh. Many school kids and educational staff will be thankful for this. To protect our sand dunes from the sea, our volunteers have planted over 3,500 sea oat plugs along the dune system just south of the reserve across from the Exxon station. Oh yes, I almost forgot about the invasive plant removal volunteer teams. If not kept in check, invasive plants can reduce Florida's biodiversity, reduce wildlife habitat, impact endangered species, and more. Our Pepper Busters crew has been doing a great job in helping to eradicate the Brazilian pepper trees. Research is a core component of the reserve's mission. For more than a dozen research projects are currently being done at GTM Research Reserve. One of our larger projects involves oysters. Have you ever wondered what happens to oyster shells after they've been served at a restaurant? GTM Research Reserve volunteers have an oyster run. Over 32,000 pounds of oyster shells have been picked up at participating restaurants and taken to our Middle Beach parking lot. There they are stored for a year in the heat and rain, so they are nature cleaned. Gabions are constructed and filled with the shells. The gabions are then transported to the Intercoastal Waterway, where volunteers load them into barges. Special structures are constructed on the Intercoastal Waterway, where the shore has started to erode. The gabions, along with branches and other materials, are placed in these structures to save our shoreline. We always need volunteers where monitoring is performed on coastal management issues. Here, volunteers assist in estimating how many oysters reside within our boundaries and characterize the population structure. Most of the time, volunteers get a free boat ride. Do you want to get involved with the SPAT monitoring program? SPAT is baby oysters. Cleaning and restringing the shells takes place in the lab, so you will be in the comforts of air conditioning during the heat. You can help us with the phytoplankton monitoring program. Volunteers will have the opportunity to see up close both zooplankton, which are animals, and phytoplankton, which are plants, while supplying useful data to scientists. Volunteers will conduct a plankton tow to capture the phytoplankton and go into a real lab to study the samples with microscopes. We offer both sunshine and a water experience when doing our water quality sampling. It is a great field opportunity to see the entire GTM Research Reserve on the Intracoastal Waterway. Volunteers will assist in data collection and water sampling. Are you a birder? We have both lease turn and shorebird monitoring projects in which you can participate. Join volunteers who also like birding while helping scientists better understand these birds. Gopher tortoises are presently a threatened keystone species. There is very little information on diet, burrowing characteristic preferences, or how hurricanes affect them. You can volunteer to become part of the tortoise team. If you work for an organization which will give employees a day off to do community service work, please suggest GTM Research Reserve. Pictured here are employees of corporations who have given a day of their time to better our environment. Oceanwise is the Friends of the GTM Research Reserve's signature fundraising event. Volunteers are needed to help set up for the event, greet guests, and act as auction assistants. The Estuary Fest is a big occasion at the GTM Research Reserve. We will need many volunteers. Guests enjoy activities, games, music, art, and food while learning about the area's oceans, rivers, and estuaries. The activities throughout the day provide attendees with the resources to implement environmentally inspired ideas at home. Volunteers meet our guests at numerous display booths, explaining and answering questions about our environment. GTM Research Reserve offers multiple options for a wedding. Volunteers are needed throughout the wedding process. Last year, we participated in 43 outreach programs. If you would like to tell people about the wonderful programs at GTM Research Reserve and convey our mission, please volunteer for the public outreach program. Oh, one last opportunity. If you are a people person and wish to volunteer for an inside opportunity, we have room for you as a front desk greeter. You will also have the opportunity to do light administrative duties. As you can see, we have a lot of dedicated volunteers to help us year-round or just seasonally. Twice a year, the volunteers are honored at a luncheon and awards are distributed. The only person missing is you. Our volunteer mascot, Alice, has earned the esteemed blue hat and has one for you. Stop at our front desk or give us a call to see where you can help.